Thank you very much. You are still here, even in the very late afternoon. So I'm sorry for using English, but my Hungarian is really bad. So, but I think that the Czech version of English will be easy to understand, and especially you will benefit from what I will show to you. That together with RelNet, we are providing here the network, and we will talk about the business analytics, the application intelligence that is providing on the current network. So my name is Michal Zlesák. I'm representing Extreme Networks, which is the company that 2 years ago acquired Enterasys. I'm responsible since 2002, so maybe some of you know Enterasys. And the main topic for today is that initially in the first 10-15 minutes, I will just introduce what we talk about the business intelligence, how to make from your IT strategic business asset. And then the most of the time, obviously, because this is a technical workshop, we will go through the details during the live demo. So I forgot to connect my presenter. Okay, it's going to be quick. And things works if you switch it on. So just a quick introduction of our company. So it is a US-based company on the New York Stock Exchange, and we are now as a fourth biggest networking vendor in the world. And so our revenues are roughly 600 million annually, and our expertise, we said we are the networking. So we will talk about the network itself, and the combination of two of Enterasys and Extreme gave us the combination of very unique management system, visibility in the network, and the special flow-based technology I will talk later, with the very powerful networks that came from the Extreme side. So our expertise, wired and wireless networks, and especially the security, analytics, and network management software, which will be very much a topic for today, and that is actually the part of the concept of software-defined networking. So I will talk in the second half of this time about the real use cases we are already deployed in at our customers, even in the region, and that are in line with the software-defined networking. So this is actually just a basic introduction. I hope you are following me. Is it okay with the language? Good, good. If you don't understand, we have Tamás. So Tamás can explain, can translate if nothing is not understandable. So our main, our perception of our customers is that your network is a strategic business asset, and it goes hand in hand with the trends that are the cloud computing, mobility, bring your own device, where more and more applications are going to be operated from data centers, from cloud, and the traffic goes through the network. If you have a possibility to analyze what's going through the network, you can understand how your company is working. And this is actually the rule that is going more and more, because in the past, the computing was done in the computer, and the data, they were somehow stayed in the computer. But now, the computer or the end device is going to be more the passive device, where you just want to see something, you want to click, but the data are going through the network. And if you can analyze it, if you can understand the traffic patterns in the network, you can help your managers, the owners of the company, to make correct business decisions. They can easily deploy the new applications because they know how the network can behave. So for us, it's important to see that today you have your network, and we want to help you to understand what's happening in the network, what data are going, just to understand what's happening on the application layer. So that's actually the thing. So if we look onto the traditional today's network, how the switches are seeing the traffic, they see that as a ports. port 80, port 443. So they see the traffic to layer 4. If it is a voice over IP traffic, it's easy to understand. But if you have applications like Facebook, Google, but even look onto the link Skype for Business from Microsoft. I will talk about it later, about the integration. But traditional switch doesn't recognize it because it goes on the layer 7, the only way how to recognize it. So the important is that we have to understand the traffic from that perspective. If it is a Facebook, Twitter, Oracle, SharePoint, to these applications. So to go further to layer 7. And why we Extreme Networks are talking about that. And I would say the foundation for talking about the understanding of the traffic is because we have our own patented technology that is hidden, let's call it hidden, in the own ASIC processors. So they are our own ASIC processor, they are designed by us. And what's very important, they are reprogrammable. So we have our customers, if they are using that, they use these devices from 10, sometimes to 15 years. This is the second generation of the device, which is on the market for roughly 5 years. And this actually leverage 15 years of the experience of building our own ASIC processors. And the important thing is that it works with packets and is able to reframe that. So it is actually the ASIC processor that works with flows. I'll just understand in a minute what is the difference between the silicon-based processor and the ASIC-based processor. But important that ASIC processor understands to layer 7. So it is application aware. And what is very important that if customers are investing in that ASIC-based technology we call CoreFlow 2, they are actually implementing new features, new functionalities during the life cycle through the firmware upgrades. I will talk about, for example, layer 7 policy, that what we plan is going to be just via the firmware upgrade. So I know most of you are the technicians, so you understand that picture, and this is about the understanding behind the TCP header. So we see furthermore, and we'll talk later about the additional frames we're able to mirror from each flow to work further to understand the application behind each flow. And this is actually what we are working more through in the solution. So if we go, before going to the live demo, to the topology of the solution. So the CoreFlow 2 technology is used in our either switches or collectors, because there are two ways how to deploy in the network in terabit speeds, because we are able to deploy that in terabit speeds, which means in the perimeter on infrastructure. We don't talk about the, let's say, understanding application of the firewall. They are the solutions. I know there was the speaker in front before me. He was talking about firewalls technology, but we talk about the perimeter of LAN, wireless LAN infrastructure, about the terabit speeds. And so we can have either in the active mode, the customers, they have that deployed in the core or data center, or you can have that as a collector, which means you just put side by your existing environment and you just mirror certain links, like the link to the internet or the link that goes to the data center. And so what is the difference in between traditional silicon and our ASIC processor? So if at every port of that device, there are 4 in the collector and there are tens, hundreds of ports, this CoreFlow 2 is behind every port. If a packet comes to that processor, it does the same like the commercial silicon. So ask the processor, central processor, what to do with that, rate limit, access control list, quality of service, and it forwards that further to the infrastructure, like the normal switching. But what else it does? So if it actually handles a table with flows, which means there is a new packet from new session. A user creates a new session, HTTP session, whatever. And the first packet comes, so it will create the record in the table. The second packet from the same flow It just keeps the statistics. If new comes, new record. I think most of you understands what we are talking about, what technology it is behind, what protocol do we talk about. The keeping the statistics about flows in the network. Flow statistics in the network. NetFlow, you will have further attempt. I have some presents, so if you answer correctly, I have some presents here. So that will be next attempt. So we talk about the NetFlow. So it's actually running the full NetFlow without any degradation to the performance, because that's how the CoreFlow 2 is designed. But what is unique? Okay, there are some technologies in the market that are able of doing that. But what is important is that's actually it's missing here actually, because this is I'm usually using the translated page, but I'm here missing here because here is named as a CoreFlow 2, but it's actually first and mirror. What that means, from every flow that is created, the CoreFlow 2 is able to mirror the first n packets. Now currently it's up to 30, and is further sent to the software. And on that software, it goes together with NetFlow, so we know who is communicating with whom. But these first up to 30 frames are used to compare with the database of application fingerprints. So which is some kind of database. Today we have 13,000 application fingerprints, and this mirror is actually matched, which means then it's created a record who is communicating with whom and what is the application behind it. Is it Twitter? Is it the Facebook? Is it the SharePoint? Is it the HD streaming from Link? And it is actually stored in the database on the software here. It's called Purview Engine. And some of you might understand the technology like Layer 7 IDS. It's a pretty much similar technology, but we don't work with the, let's say, thread signatures, but with application fingerprints. I will show you in a minute in the live demo. And then I have a management, which is actually showing the information that are stored here, sending the queries, doing the graphs, and to make the real outcomes of the solution. So before I go to the live demo, is that I want to mention three aspects, three areas where we are going to solve that. And I'll just skip first one. I will start with this one because this is pretty much security conference. Maybe you understand I was not talking about security yet. This solution is not primarily focused for just security, but this is giving the source of layer 7 visibility into the entire infrastructure, into entire current infrastructure, and can be used as a source for further processing. So, which means that you have a visibility to, you can have the visibility to every application flow that is created in the network. So you can easily, and I will show, we already found in the current network some BitTorrents. So you can easily set up the rule that if there is a BitTorrent, immediately you see it, you get an email, or you get some SMS, or it's going to be sent as an alert to further management system, some umbrella management system you are operating. So the idea is to understand shadow IT or all unapproved applications. So every application that should not be in your network, that could potentially create some violation of your policy, you know about that because you have complete visibility in your internal network. You don't have to wait when that flow appears in the firewall, because here we talk about the internal network. So it helps to assure security compliance, and it can detect malicious applications. So this is a security aspect. We will talk about that during the live demo. The second one, and I think it's more important, it is about user experience. For every flow, we are able to measure network response times and application response time. Some of you might heard about the solutions like application performance monitoring, network performance monitoring. They are the vendors, they are focusing on that technologies, specialized on that. And but they are doing that like application performance monitoring, deploying or installing the software on the server on that application, and then installing the agents. And they're just measuring the responses. Performance monitoring works as a separate network that's measuring the network responses. We are, let's say we have a different approach because we measure the current existing traffic. We are not creating the, let's say, I would call the malicious one. We are really working with the traffic that is already there. So, and actually the perception is that if you have a TCP connection, you have TCP request, acknowledgement, that handshaking. So that's what, when this session is created, application is not a part of that. So that's a network response time. And the rest is application. So immediately you can know if there is a problem. Is it at the application? Is it at the network? So, and how this is connected with user experience? Because they are the users that sometimes are worried about the response times on the applications. So you as a people, they are responsible for the network, you immediately know if it is a problem on the application or is it in the network. You can set up alarms or alerts that if the response time on some your business critical application, could be SAP, could be SharePoint, is like larger than 2 seconds, you can get alert. So you don't have to wait when the client is calling to the help desk and complaining, because you know that upfront, because you can see the trends. So it is important that you can optimize your network for hungry, how to say, for the applications that are hungry for the bandwidth, because you will see on the response time how they are consuming the bandwidth. You can plan, and we have some customers, they are really, how to say, they like that they can plan the upgrades of some applications if they have non-stop operations. The hospital, just for example, one big hospital in Prague, we have that deployed. They were thinking, because they had to upgrade some I think a health information system, and they were actually observing the trends, and they said, we will do that on Friday after 8 o'clock. You would normally say, Friday 8, why? And the reason is simple. Because during the day there are some planned surgeries, operations, health check, and so on. Then you have a change of the time shifts, and then people usually go to pubs, restaurants, somewhere, and then when they go back, they are getting broken their legs, they get some problems and go back to the hospitals, and they have since like 11, 12, they have a lot of work to do. It's a quite funny case, but that's the reality. So if you have a non-stop operation, you cannot just think about when you can do it. You go and look to the trends, how the applications are used. So you can plan the maintenance and actually improve the productivity from that point of view, because you see how the applications are used. So this is about user experience. And the third aspect, that's about business analytics. Why business analytics? If you are able to measure how users are using the applications, you can measure their productivity. You can see how many users are connected to certain applications at one time. What is the bandwidth they use? You can select what users are, let's say, making their, we call it the normal hours. I don't know if you are people, they are paid for the work, not like standing on the how to say line making a cards, but I'm talking about the people. They are do accounting, they do various administration tasks, and they are actually measured on the working with the tools. And if you can measure them, how they use different tools, you can measure the productivity. So you as a people, they are responsible for network, you are a business partner to your owners. Because you don't talk about the feeds and speeds, about the 99.9, how to say the network is running, but you have the real arguments how people are using the applications. So this is how we talk about the business analytics, business intelligence. So we do measure strategic applications, how they assure adoption and productivity. It's about planning. It's about, for example, measuring how many licenses you need for your company. That you might pay for 300 licenses, but at the peak you might use only 100. Why you pay maintenance for 200? So because you can measure it, at each moment how many clients are connected to certain applications. So this is actually the business analytics, and I think it's very important that you transform unknown and unrelated info into the meaningful business intelligence. So the network is how to say, you are upgrading the network from really bytes and speeds and feeds to the real application awareness. So I promised you to go to the live demo, which will be better understandable for you. So thanks to RelNet, thanks to Tamas and the guys, that there is a network, and some of you might be connected into the network, and we have the system is not only about the wireless line, but it's about the management and all the analytics. So I need the access. I will go just in a minute. So first thing I want to go. Let's look what applications. Okay, browser. Just a second, come on. And first of all, look into the dashboard. So this is the main dashboard. What we see, what's happening in this network. The SSID is Sector. Sector is a SSID, so everybody who connected to the SSID, you know. So we recognized 467 applications. This was the bandwidth. I mean, the amount of data that were sent in the network, almost half gig. 27,000 flows, 61 clients, 4 servers, and opposite. If I just make it, you still see it somehow. Here you can see this is a network performance time. You can see it was switched off, switched off, switched off, and still green, green, green. It's okay. Application response time. Okay, okay, okay. Switched off. Okay, switched off. Okay, 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 okay. By the way, last week we ran a similar event in Slovakia. And I was in a hotel, and they had some issues with DNS. That was red. But we helped them to solve the problem because we immediately knew what's the problem, because we knew it's with DNS immediately. I will show you how. So, and then all the application flows, we aggregate into the groups. So obviously the most 40% is, can I make it bigger? Do you see it from the back? Is it recognizable? Okay, just let me know, because I see it better than probably, that's a good projector. So 40% web applications, streaming, 6%, software updates, which is, by the way, quite interesting if we talk about software updates. Nightmare for different organizations that people do update their phones during the peak hour. So I know we are talking with some of our customers that this is something that they don't want. So social networking, I would expect more social networking protocols, all others. And here you see the more details. So the most it's used is Windows Update, Sector as a web application, YouTube obviously, it's always the most. So we have some Facebook, Google. Actually here, in terms of applications, you obviously see more the web-based applications are going outside. If we would be running some internal servers, that's important because usually this is not only for the internet traffic, but for internal applications. But here, obviously, we don't have them here that much. So you see application, you see the group, how many flows, how many data were sent, how many clients use that. And here you see average network response time, average application response time. Then you see some graph of the traffic and some more data. Interesting thing, when we were running the event the last week, and we had and somehow we can monitor here. I said to the guys that we don't need the questionnaires really, because based on the web traffic, you can understand how interesting the presentation was. Because if people are not monitoring the presenter, immediately they start to surf on their phones. So you can see on the peaks what presentations is interesting and which is not. So some people are getting scary about that, but I would say especially with some presenters. So it's quite interesting to see. So probably there was very interesting around 10. We have 1 hour statistics here. So I would say in between 9 and 10, people were pretty much monitoring. And then lunchtime going up. So, okay, we could go more into the details, obviously. but it's not fun now. So let's go more into the details we might be interested in. So first of all, we can look onto the different kind of dashboard, how many clients, how many servers you see in each time, and some more details. Top clients by bandwidth, top servers, so which is some kind of dashboard, a different kind of dashboard I just wanted to show to you, and you can obviously adjust what you want to see there. The thing I like, I think it's quite interesting for a management. If you are operating the network, one of the report that can be that you use towards your management, it's how my network is used. This is a view on the, it's from 2 p.m. actually, so we can go back. Now I'm just thinking of the time. 2 p.m. It's maybe local time. Okay, because if I have 11 p.m. Okay, I will keep it because it looks like in the last 1 hour. So in the last 1 hour, this was how many clients were using each application. So you can see encrypted web, 30 clients, Google, 41 clients, Google Analytics, 22 clients, DNS, 52 clients, it's obviously one of the most. Skype, 11 clients, used Skype, YouTube. I can actually click on the right, top clients, Slovak clients. This is from client's point of view. I can see from flows, obviously DNS is the best. So it's important, especially when you design the firewalls, how many flows each application generates. So Google, Facebook, or you just check it from the bandwidth point of view. So Windows Update consumes most of the bandwidth in the network. So we can click obviously which clients are using what. So this is some kind of report you can go and further dig into the details of each. Or you can run another dashboard. Let's look enterprise dashboard, which was actually when you saw the screen at the RelNet stand, it was in bubbles, but it was similar kind of view that you have separated applications from the social networking, streaming news, bandwidth. From the bandwidth point of view, so Twitter, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn. Then you have business applications like SAP, Salesforce, Oracle, SharePoint, and Google Mail, obviously. Here, there's the most. And Salesforce, could be me. I was connected to Salesforce. Storage applications and cloud, bandwidth, and then network protocol. So this is another view how you can have a reports from the bandwidth point of view. You can obviously customize that how you want. Let's go to something which is I'd say more usable. If you want to do something, you have a client is calling to the help desk. I have a problem. My help desk, I have a problem. My application is not working. Okay, it's not working. So first of all, what I can do, I can check the 30 applications today, and I want to see the applications with the worst application response time. Because from bandwidth point of view, we already saw. So, and here you can see that we have some applications. You can see the network is okay. Network does not have really a problem. But there is a problem with some applications, 8 seconds response time for some. I'm not even able to. Is it Hungarian? Okay, that's why I don't know it. So then you have some others. So we have some applications that have some wrong application response time. I'm just thinking, is it camera is on? Would it be possible to switch it off for 2-3 minutes? Because some people might get offense because we have usernames. And if I'm going to go through just for 2-3 minutes, because I use Tamáš Muchani, I have approval from him that I can. So Tamáš is a partner from RelNet. So here we have a flows that goes from Tamáš Muchani. He has 2 devices, LG and the second one. First thing, what I would like to see might be interesting for me, that I want to see the end system application summary, which means all the details I want to see in one picture about his device. So I see here some kind of bandwidth used. Now it's good, it's nothing, because he's sitting on the presentation. It's correct. So you can see the applications, you can see the application map, which is what the traffic he generated today from one of the devices. So search engines, web applications, some mail, cloud storage, advertising, and there are some small traffic. And here you can see all the details. This is the phone, mobile phone of Tamás. The other thing, if you start to troubleshoot, you might be interested to see where he is connected into the network. He should be on, so which means he should be currently connected. So here you can see the topology. So this is the access point that is somewhere here. I even don't know where exactly, maybe behind me somewhere. The link is up, and it is Android of Tamás, which is LG device. ICD SSID is a sector. ICD IP address of controller. ICD BSSID, a MAC address of the device, and the profile policy of a user, profile for the device, and the history of it was seen. He's up and running. The interesting thing, if you want to see all the details, and some of you might have seen that, by the way, this is a solution where we caught about the mobile IAM, the Identity and Access Management, which got the award at ITBM conference in 2012 here in Hungary, and we got as the best foreign innovation award. So we have some kind of, how to say, award, very nice looking. Some of you maybe were on the conference, so we got that award for this solution. So it's nothing really new, but now we see, because this is something which we were not able to show 3 years ago, it is the top applications. But you see all the details. I'll make it a bit bigger. So you see here, it's Tamás Muchani, it's authenticated by MAC address, it's accepted, policy guest access, profile, guest access NAC profile. So this is just because I make it too big. So the graphic is not, but I think you can even see it like that one. Okay. So then you see MAC address, IP address, host name, location, activity, first, last seen, details about the access points. It's Android, it's a health, it's registered. In regarding the health, I will talk later about the integrations with other vendors. But in Czech Republic, we have a very nice integration with Mobile Iron. Maybe some of you heard about mobile device management, which is a security integration. That if you come to the hotspot of T-Mobile in Czech, you go to the portal, you put your mobile phone number. Back you get the SMS with a PIN, some 4 digits, some 4 letters, and you get the access based on if you are the customer of T-Mobile or if you are customer of the competitor, if you pay or not. I don't know, but they recognize in their database. But what's nice thing is that if you have the device, which is BYOD, bring your own device, and it is under control of mobile device management from Mobile Iron, you don't have to fill in anything because the MDM agent there will tell us everything. It will tell us what's the phone number, what is the Android version, so you can see not only the Android, but you see all the details which version of Android it is. It will show you if it is encrypted, is jailbroken, so which means that they have the secured BYOD access to the T-Mobile network on the same SSID like for guests, for the own employees, because it is the integration with mobile device management. And these are the details you would see here. This is one of the integration. I will talk about some others later. So, and you see the top applications. I can look if there were some problems. So here you see all the details of when Tamás was connecting to the network. So it's 2 days ago, first. And you see all the details when he was connected. So you can have a details like half year back. If you want to check the employees are going in the right time to the work, you can use that database for checking the presence. So and some further details about the device. If you are the lucky ones and you have the wireless from us, you can see the details about the wireless network. So because we have here our wireless network, so I can see that all the details are relevant to the user of Tamás. because I went from the opening his device, so I can immediately troubleshoot if there is a problem with the Wi-Fi. I can troubleshoot on the Wi-Fi because immediately I just click easily to the details to the management of the wireless network. So I see how many, what is the performance, what is the signal strength, details about the controller, the access point, some protocols, some details. So I can click into the history of access point. Come on. So how many clients are in each bandwidth. So these are the details you would usually get from the wireless network itself. You go to the controller or some special management software, it's there. But the important, this is the management that is getting that information is correlating with other information. So you don't have to search in that system. You see it from this one view application, which is the web-based management. So you see how many clients are connected to each. You can see some traffic, even some details about the wireless. The history of the client, for the information, it's quite quick, so I can. And you see some more details. I don't want to go really that much. So go back. So, and this is actually the port view which we go. So going back, that was the identity. Going back to the applications flow. So if you are the security guys, you might be interested in seeing some. Okay, thank you. It's double T. It's double. So you can see the BitTorrent. So you can create a alarm that if there is a BitTorrent, you want to get some message or some alert. So that might be the view if you are really the security guys and you want to use it as a source of security information. You can set up certain alarms that if BitTorrent is there, you want to. And the important is you know all the details who is using that. Ah, it's me. Why it's possible? BitTorrent created by my Android. We are learning. So well, I think in terms of preview, the last thing what I think it's worth to mention here, I was talking about something. It's here. I cannot ask about the application fingerprint, and we have 13,000 application fingerprints. And if I just check Adobe, for example, Adobe advertisement, and you look into the fingerprint definition, this is the language how they are written, the regular expressions of the programming. So we have a lot of customers from the, let's say, special government units, because we always were a security networking vendor. And we have a lot of secret services, armies, Ministry of Interiors, and they really like that they can create the fingerprints themselves. So you can see that if you understand the language, some of you might, but if you don't, we have partners, they know it, that they can create the signature for the special applications you are operating. You don't have to go to me, not to me personally, but to Extreme Networks to create that fingerprint for you. You can obviously, but I think the main purpose, if it is confidential application, you want to see only yourself because it's proprietary, so you can modify the fingerprint yourself. So this is another very important thing. It's let's say uniqueness of creating own fingerprints. The last thing I just want to go because I'm skipping. So just the last thing, the dashboard of identity and access management. So this is the thing I was talking about, the identities. So this is a dashboard. You see how many people are. So 86 people or devices, not people, but devices were accepted. 15 are disconnected. So still a lot of people are here. So how many guess? Transient, I don't know what that means. So interesting Android. If you go in the US, that would be Apple. And we are, by the way, we are official analytics provider at NFL. So we already made 2 Super Bowls in that. And if you count, so 80% of all devices connected at Super Bowl, and which last year was 14,000 people. This year it was 19 already out of 85,000 people. They are attending Super Bowl, and 80% were Apple, obviously. So here it's Android, Windows. Apple is pretty small. Windows Mobile, Mac, guest access unregistered. So some people gave up. provide us with a username. So device family. So some further details, you have a dashboard. So go back to the presentation, because I think I would like to just do some quick wrap up of and just have some space for questions. So I was talking about, so in terms of how does it really works in general. So I was talking about the core flow 2 processor that is able to, and actually here we talk about tens of millions flows. We don't talk about thousands of flows, which sometimes it is actually the issue with current open flow technology, but we really talk about the tens of millions of flows. We are able to process that. And if I go back just here, if we talk here about the device, we start with 4 gigabit, with 10 gigabit ports here, and the biggest we can deploy, which it was deployed on NFL, it's about 3 terabits per second in one device. So this is actually the platform like Nexus 9000, if you go to the size. So it's just to know the scale that you can start with 4 10 gigabit ports from sensor to the active. If you talk about 3 terabits per second. So data are sent to private plants. I was talking about that, and I think that's already what I was talking. So a quite interesting thing which we might be interested in, that a solution that we might deploy in the virtual environment, that we cooperation with XCL, maybe you heard about. That's another integration we have. That if you want to mirror certain traffic, not physically via the links, but from certain virtual machines, you can do that through this is some kind of virtual the virtual tab that is able to mirror this certain traffic only from selected virtual machines, and it creates the gray tunnel, and then we process on our previous sensor. So we are able to deploy that solution not only in, let's call it, physical kind of environment, but as well in the virtual world. So okay, so we have a lot of use cases we are using. So a couple of them I mentioned already, but in terms of, because if you have the end-to-end view of all the services, applications running in the network and measure the response times, so you have different kind of ways what might have a benefit for you. So it's about analyze business applications. You can validate software licensing. You can extract marketing information if you are providing some venues, like I told you, NFL. The main purpose there is about how to go to the providers like Facebook, Google, and charge them for the advertisements. It's a big business there. So how to assess device distribution, so bring your own device, control the policies, monitor SLA agreements, proactive troubleshooting. I was talking about the network response time, that you know in upfront. So if user is calling, there is a problem, you already know. You might already know about that. So you can profile end user behavior and enhance security and monitor the compliance. One thing we are not able to show to you, this is the picture you saw. This is actually the searching the maps, because the time was crucial, so we were not able to integrate the map here of the solution. So if you want to even show the device where it is, you can directly monitor the identity in the map. We call the heat map. So this is, I'm showing you just on the screenshot, because this is not let's say online here. In terms of some customers, I would like to mention there is already one customer here in Hungary. It's a government customer that is already running this solution. And this is an example of the largest hospital in UK. They're using that solution. So and this is the main reason was that they have complete visibility of what's happening in the network. So this is called BARTS Healthcare. This is NHS Trust. So that's the biggest hospital in London. NFL, I was talking about that. And just the last few words about, and this is what we are talking, it's a foundation for our software-defined networking offerings. And some of you might know what is software-defined networking, that the main intention is to move the intelligence from the physical network to the management. So, and we are actually adding this application analytics and the identity and access management to the SDN controller, because SDN controller in its nature does not have that capabilities. So we are actually adding that visibility to be able to, first of all, we can do that in the really high performance wired and wireless infrastructure. So we are doing that in the wired as well as wireless. It's about unified management software solution and automation and orchestration of different vendors into your, and that's very important. All we are talking about here, it's about that does not need to replace your current infrastructure. If you are using some technology solutions, I'm not talking about the low-end vendors. So obviously, it's a limitation. Quite complicated slide, but this is what is behind software-defined networking, and this is the functionality we were talking about: application intelligence, network access control, or identified as wireless technology I was showing, which is adding the network visibility and control into the current controller. And then you have different kind of APIs that you control your current infrastructure. Could be OpenFlow, could be OpenStack, but could be SNMP and other protocols. But what's important are the platform APIs. So meaning that you have some request from your application what the network should do. And we have an ecosystem of the vendors we are cooperating with. And one of the solution I mentioned at the beginning, I did not show the details, is the integration with Microsoft Link. Now it's Microsoft Skype for Business. I'm saying everybody knows what the solution behind. And we are able to automatically assign the quality of service for different application within the Link infrastructure or Skype for Business infrastructure. Why? Because if you as a user, if you use that device or the fixed device, doesn't really matter. But if you want to chat, who cares? Nobody cares because you will chat even in the really bad working network. But if you want to share the HD screen, usual switch does not recognize it is a link requirement. So if you have a purview, which is application intelligence, that recognize that there is a need for some link request for example, HD screening, the sharing of the HD screen. Our management system is integrated or is actually connected via API with Link server or Skype for Business server of Microsoft, which tells us all the details about that. And then our management back will tell the infrastructure, set up the quality of service. So we can do that in the wireless, we can do that in the wired. And the thing we are using the special technology about the dynamic scripting, which means that you set up the quality of service, and at the end, when the session ends, it will erase all the setting ups, and then you have statistics, how many calls or how many sessions remote conferencing were successful or not. And this is just the business use of the solution, because your network is now the key foundation for reliable business application, which Skype for Business might be. Because currently you have a lot of drops. If you have really very powerful network, you might be okay with that. But if you are not able to mark, and Microsoft is not a networking company, that solution does not mark the traffic. So, but we are able to recognize it. So that's another showings. Another interesting integration which we are shown in last week, we did not have space here, was integration with Fortinet. My colleague, he was connected with 3 devices to the network, and then he served from one of the devices to sex.cz, something, just an example. And firewall disconnected him, obviously, but he did disconnect it, not only that device, but all 3, because there is a real-time mapping, and that's what you saw on that picture, real-time mapping in between IP address and the username. So if he had 3 devices recorded under one username, then obviously the system, the firewall, can cut all 3. So all 3 devices were in the quarantine. And this is this was the integration with Fortinet. We have many others. So the beauty of this, let's say, program with technology solution partners, that these vendors, they are specialists in something. We are specialists, and let your partners to think how to integrate the different solutions. You don't have to have everything from one vendor. That's over. So important is that you have multiple solutions, and they are specialists on every category, but you're able to integrate and get much higher value from these integrations than integrated solution from one vendor. I don't want to be that specific, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So this is, I think, the message to you, that just think about how you can utilize in your the current infrastructure you already have. I think the time is over. So I think I was talking. So, 2 minutes. Question and answers. So, is there any question? I should think about some question myself. It's only you. What's the name of the solution I was talking about? What's the name of the solution I was talking? The main. That was the technology, but the name of the solution. That's the technology used in the processor. But the overall solution, I did not highlight it that much because I did not want to talk about marketing, but I mentioned that. It's some view. Perfect. I have one L and one M. You have the first one, so L or M? Or white or black? Which one you prefer? This is L and this is M. Okay. Tamas, do you have any question? I have still one. Maybe for some good question. If somebody raised the question. So, any question from the audience to the topic? How many users were connected into the network? Who remembers the number? How many users? I mean, not the users, phones. How many devices were connected in this network? 80? I don't remember. I think so. 86 was accepted. But who said 86? Well, I think it was somewhere on the top. Who said that? 86. Okay. So, no question? So, thank you very much for Sukesanem, one of the few words I know. Thank you, it was stunning, so feel free to go to our partners, to Tamas from RelNet if you are interested into more details. Thank you very much.